Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. I hope you're feeling blessed and having a good morning. This is Authentic Epic Boom. What's up with you? Epic Boomers, Wrench Squad, viewers. Hey, hey. Hope you all are doing good. Let me know how you're doing in the comment section. And we're going to get into a little bit of Black history that I find fascinating, interesting, and very intriguing. This beautiful African American lady that you're looking at, her name is Christina Jenkins, and she actually created the sewing weave back in 1951. Let me give you a little background on her, okay? You see here, Christina Jenkins invented hair weaving process in the 1950s. She received a patent in 1951 for this process of hair weaving. Although people were wearing wigs and hair pieces for thousands of years, Christina came up with this weaving idea. She was married to a jazz musician named Duke at the time, and they lived in Cleveland, Ohio. Christina and Duke Jenkins formed their company, Christina Hair Weave, which was spelled Christina's Hair, and it was a dash WEEV is how they spell weave back then. Interesting. In the early 1950s, people were so in love with her hair weaves and methods of applying them that they would pay her to come to their country and teach them how to sew in hair weave. Before she invented the idea to sew in the hair onto the hair, people were putting the weave on hair pins placed on scalps. Hair weave back in those days were stiff and pretty bulky. I can imagine. Mrs. Jenkins' technique at the first look, the same was once done. What she did for the hair extension world was created a way for it to be applied and stay for a while. Thank goodness for her. Her technique at the time was very time consuming. It's time consuming now. I'm sorry, y'all. But it is time consuming now because it's a whole process, or whatnot. And it does take time. But in the 1950s, the way she would do a sew and weave according to the pattern, it included. Now, I'm going to show you what the last picture I found of her, and then I will show you some instructions and some illustrations, which I find very fascinating for how they did it then to how we do hair weaves now. So shout out to her, and I'll be right back. Now, this is the last picture I was able to find of her. I think she's still beautiful, and I just think it's a beautiful thing that, anyone that's African American that's created something so not only trendy, but timeless. I know I've wore hair weaves over the last, not 10 years, because I didn't start wearing them until like my 30s. I always wore my own hair before that. But it's a way to do something different. It's a way for you to grow your hair. It's a way to, try different colors if you don't want to do colors. It's just so many reasons why we do what we do, depending on who you are. But it's a great way to try something new and do something beyond the norm. So I'm grateful to her. I'm grateful for her technique, her ideas, her and her husband's company. I even like the way they spell weave, WEEV. We spell it differently now, of course, but I'm going to show you. I just wanted to show you the last picture I found of her. And I'm going to read to you and show you some patterns of how things were going. So I'll be right back again. Isn't that beautiful? Her then, her now. Okay, I'll be right back. Or actually, you know what? I won't even do that. Let's keep it going. So this is one of the illustrations here. Okay, one of the beautiful illustrations. Let me read you a little bit of what it says here. Connecting successive strands of live hair and successive strands of commercial hair to a lineage attachment based on a cord-like material at closely placed points thereof and there along. Interweaving strands of live hair and strands of commercial hair with cords like materials permanently join the strands thereto. Interweaving strands of live hair with materials of permanent secure of the materials as a base on the head and attaching a switch or like accessory of commercial hair to a base by threads. Now, for me to look at this, I see some similarities. I see why it's bulky because how they're applying it, and the hair was not braided in as far as what we consider sew in versus the 1950s. I find it interesting to look at how they, attached it, interlined it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's the way it's just embedded. That's the best way I could put it. Now that I've given you a little bit of history on Christina Jenkins, her and her husband hair company. He was a jazz pianist, Herman Duke Jenkins. Oh, wow. She passed away in 2003. God rest her soul. From 1950s to where we are in 2018, it's interesting how weeds have come a long way. And I'm thankful for her abilities to create this, to give us something different. It's good to be able to intertwine and change things if you want to, at the drop of a hat, or be able to get something that will not only look nice, but actually do great things for your hair. So I'm going to show you some illustrations of how this came together from 1, I believe, to 11 of how she did this. And I find it interesting. And you will see her, the bottom of the pictures, you will see the inventor. You will see her, how she actually autographed it and everything. So let's get to the